What? What the heck's that? It's like magic circuits, but like externally on her body. There's some sort of inscription appearing on Ilia's face? No, it's not just her face. It's a huge command spell covering her entire body. And I can even see it at this distance. It's so much more massive than the ones we have. Oh, command spells, okay. Playtime is over. Trample them, Heracles. Ilia's voice is completely lifeless. And in response, the giant behind her howls. I can't read that. His roar shakes the earth. He screams and thrashes like he's lost his mind. His abilities grow even more powerful, like his body is swelling with deformed masses. That is impossible. Was you only depriving him of reason rather than letting him go berserk? I'm not surprised, Saber is shuddering. Even I, who can't gauge the warrior's strength, can tell I shouldn't be getting anywhere near that monster. You think Archer's my wingman? I guess we'll see. See where it goes. Go, kill everything you see, Berserker. The air explodes. The giant bellows a roar so different from its anguished wail and leaps. Saber! A streak of silver surges forward in answer. Berserker lands in the middle of the clearing. The earth shakes. Saber intercepts Berserker as if stopping a falling meteor. Sheesh. They're really going at it. It's like watching a mythical battle unfolding in front of me. In a forest shrouded by morning mist, two shadows clash relentlessly. Berserker is simply overwhelming. Berserker's swipes are like whirlwinds, his downward strikes like waterfalls. Even Saber wouldn't survive a direct hit. But Saber deflects his every attack without faltering or hesitating. She swipes aside the barrage of strikes raining on her like a raging storm. To fail would mean being cut down on the spot. To Saber, each of the rapid blows seemed to strike with her opponent's full might. The clash of swords echoes around the clearing. Berserker has greater reach. Berserker is faster. Berserker has more stamina. All Saber can do is parry the titanic surges of wind from Berserker's swings to mitigate the sheer strength, all just to avoid being cut in half. Berserker is like a broken jackhammer. His blade spins in all directions, annihilating everything in its path. Just getting in reach could only be fatal. There would be no hope of escape. They'd get caught in that whirling blade and ground to dust. No normal human would have a chance against that. And if getting close can only mean death, then the only option is fleeing. But Saber steps into the whirlwind and doesn't retreat. She'll be shredded to pieces. The sword sparks off of her, slowly chipping her armor away. Standing in the middle of that vortex, she could be dead in a heartbeat. I can only hold my breath. In ancient times, heroes who fought dragons and demonic beasts must have all been like this. Like her. They know perfectly well how vast the gap in strength between them is. But they bet everything on a 1 in a million shot. A seething mass of violence beyond anything humans are capable of. They just defend until a single opportunity presented itself. Many warriors died without ever seeing the miracle they were waiting for. That's exactly what this battle is. It is a glamorous, eye-catching battle, but it only ends one way, with Saber's defeat. Each blow chips away a little more at her. Berserker's roar shakes the ground. The sheer whirlwind of his frenzy churns up the atmosphere and sends Saber flying as she tries to defend. Every time Berserker's attacks chip away a bit of Saber's armor, she's thrown to the ground. But instead of remaining down or on her knees, Saber charges right back at Berserker every time. But she's at her limits. Saber's breathing is labored and her movements are visibly slowing. There won't be any opening. In a few moments, Berserker's titanic weapon will shatter Saber's sword. I grip the bow I made. I'm going to provide back with my bow, or what will that do? At the very least, a distraction, right? And this isn't a decision. You help. Ugh. The moment Saber goes flying, I fire at Berserker. This won't hurt him, but it should at least get his attention. The arrow hits Berserker squarely on the temple, but it doesn't even leave a scratch. I can't even get his attention. The giant does not block the arrow. He doesn't even seem to care. That's right, Berserker. Leave Shiro alone. You can do whatever you want with him after you kill Saber. His laugh echoes through the forest. What? Maybe I need to shoot Ilya! Right? While Berserker's... Damn! I can't do anything! Saber's about to collapse right in front of me, but I can't do anything! I'm powerless. No matter what I do, I can't hurt Berserker. And I'm just distracting Saber! A slash. Saber sinks into the ground all the way to her ankles as she parries a massive blow. The parrying blade is swift but heavy. The axe sword strikes down from overhead. The brutally powerful weapon grazes Saber's armor as she dodges, then tears up the earth itself. My jaw is clenched so hard my teeth could well shatter. Is there really nothing I can do? I can't protect Saber. I can't fight alongside her. There's nothing I can do. All I can do is... Then at least imagine it. It is all you can really do. Archer said something like that. You don't need an enemy. The only opponent you need to fight is your own mind. Yeah, what was he saying again? It wasn't one of his typical snide remarks. What he said had weight and importance to it, and I needed to understand. Then again, probably everything he told me was a warning I shouldn't ignore. Saber goes flying. This time it's not because she leaped away to evade. Berserker hit her this time. That hurricane slash strikes Saber in the side. She stumbles. Coughing violently, she grips her weapon tighter and turns back towards Berserker. The giant doesn't miss the opening Saber finally provides. Oh no. Stop! My voice doesn't reach them. Shouting is useless, and trying to use the bow like Archer would be pointless. Don't I understand yet? What can I do? What should these hands of mine be doing? That's right. What do I need to save Saber? I can't use a bow. A spear won't pierce him. Having a weapon just like the enemies is no solution either. To go up against that giant. A sword to cut through a mountain of stone. An opulent sword. Sharper than sharp that will never dull. A king's sword. Able to cut down enemies in a single blow. Like that golden sword I saw in my dream. A sword fit for her. Ugh. My head hurts. I try to fight down my nausea, but I never take my eyes off Saber. Strangely, the longer I watch Saber fall, the more this indescribable pain assaults me. Saber and Berserker seem to be moving in slow motion. I see a row of switches line up. Saber coughs for a brief second. She arches in pain. Berserker smashes his axe sword down toward her with all his might. It's as if there's a row of nails I need to be hammering down. It's like he's knocking down dominoes. The switch flips. Oh! Can use some magic? Hopefully it's not too late. Saber! Berserker's axe sword cuts Saber down. She's going to die. The strike splits Saber in half at the waist, and pieces of her flesh go flying. No, that's not what's happening! The only thing that's gone flying is pieces of armor. Berserker's only split Saber's armor. Saber left herself open to bait Berserker into a single, huge swing, and with every ounce of strength she has, she rushes at him. He's angry about something. A black roar rips through the air. But he can't escape now. Saber's right in front of him. She shifts her grip on her sword and darts in closer, then swings with all her might. I don't believe this. Saber's attack hits home, and the giant who had seemed so invincible flies back several meters. And then... Get back, Saber! Then comes the true attack. Alright, come on, Red. She must intend to release the attack from as close as possible. Tasaka jumps down from the branch above and throws her jewels at Berserker as she falls. Shards of ice rain on Berserker. Among those shards are 3 giant spear-shaped icicles, each packed with enough magical energy to blow an entire mansion to smithereens. Smithereens is not a word I say on the regular. No! Dodge it, Berserker! Ilya, quiet until now, suddenly screams at her servant. She must have sensed the danger, but too late. The ice spears aren't falling. They're accelerating toward Berserker. He can't possibly dodge. A 1-in-a-million opportunity. Saber's desperate attack perfectly coordinated with the ice bullet's attacks. It has more than enough magical energy to kill Berserker. However... Oh no. The axe sword slices through the air. Even as Saber drives him back, he switches to a single-handed grip on his axe sword and shatters all 3 ice spears. Blood splatters the clearing. Maybe it's his one-armed swing, but he fails to completely destroy the ice. And when it strikes, it severs one of Berserker's arms. That's not all. The ice freezes over Berserker's arm, completely restraining it. But it only got one arm. What? Saber cries out. It's a reasonable response. Berserker catches Tosaka with his good arm as she falls. Oh no! Tosaka's face twists in pain. Berserker will have no trouble crushing Tosaka with his hand. Tosaka! I run. I don't care if I drag them down. It doesn't matter if I can't do anything. I'm not going to let Tosaka die! And Saber must be too weak to even stand, but somehow she gets to her feet. Tosaka must be in agonizing pain, but she stretches a hand out as she hangs her head downward. And then... just as I thought. Okay, stop the notifications, phone. Please, this is an impactful scene here. She grins wickedly. Oh, all part of the plan? Everyone gasps. Saber, me, and even Berserker must have all frozen in our tracks. One person can only have so many tricks up their sleeve. She knew this might happen. She hadn't even bothered to tell us. Berserker squeezes harder around her. He's a heartbeat too late. Gotcha! And if that doesn't get him, then like... What can? 4 bullets of pure light streak toward Berserker. 4 bullets, 4 gems, 4 rapid shots, the most extreme close range. That has to be enough to end the dark, mad warrior. Or rather, the attack perfectly, completely snuffs out his life. It must have blown Berserker's head clean off. The blood splatter even reaches me, 10 meters from where Berserker stands. There's kind of a lot more than blood in the mess, but I don't think she overdid it. Our opponent was a monster. Berserker would have crushed Tosaka if she hadn't blown his head off. Whew. So what are we doing with Ilya now, I wonder? Huh. Surely we don't have to kill her, but I don't know, maybe it's the safest play? That took 5 minutes in the end. Well, that's the difference in medium for you. I slow my frantic run. Tosaka's still in Berserker's grip, but the battle's over. Berserker's face is still hidden in a plume of smoke. From that singeing sound, it must have been a hell of an No way. No way. I hear Tosaka's voice. She's looking at the smoke in disbelief. Is he not dead? Is he not dead yet? Hold on. Am I imagining things? Did Berserker's hand tighten on Tosaka? It's just a rigor mortis, you know? Right? Tosaka's staring at the plume of smoke. It doesn't last long. The smoke starts to dissipate. And in the clearing air... Well then, well, so much for that plan. Berserker's face, the face that should have been blown off his body, appears. Tosaka cowers under that evil demon's gaze, at a loss for words. Laughter fills the air. Ilya, who remained at the far side of the clearing, laughs delightedly. I see a new light, Rin. I didn't think you could have possibly killed Berserker even once. Too bad, Berserker won't disappear that easily. You see, he can't die unless he's killed 12 times. One for each labor? What the heck? 12 times. Oh, is that? Oh, that explains so much now. Archer got off X-Men of... So, what death count are we on now? Please don't tell me we're on death count number 1. Did they not explain his phantasm? No. We just kind of knew he's generally pretty durable up until now. I did not know he literally can't die. Like he's almost got like a double Voldemort going on. Killed 12 times. She must have figured something out from what Ilya just told her. Tosaka looks aghast, her face twisting in regret. I get it. I should have figured it out as soon as I learned his true name. Heracles should have the bow of Hydra, but his only weapon was a rock. His no phantasm isn't an object he's carrying. The symbol for the hero Heracles is... That's right. His body itself is his noble phantasm. You should know about Heracles' 12 labors. The Greek hero Heracles overcame 12 monumental tasks to atone for his sins, and his reward was immortality. Right. You know exactly what that means, don't you? A stockpile of lives. Layers of resurrection magicraft. Yep, that's why he can't die easily. He possesses the curse of immortality, given by the gods, so that he can endure the same number of trials or deaths he once overcame. That's right, Jedi Steve. Last time she did mention him sustaining 6 or 7 fatal blows. I didn't realize he literally, like, they were literally fatal blows. I thought it was like, oh, to a normal person, this would be fatal blows. If you're so durable, that you're fine. Huh. Man, Archer must have been really strong then. Jeez. And we only barely did it once. He did like, what 5 or 6 or something? That's my Berserker's noble phantasm. God Hand. I understand. You killed Berserker there, but he still has 5 lives left. Okay. Well, just gotta do that 5 more times after Rin's already spent her entire net's worth and Saber's, like, exhausted and spent. Okay. You're so close, Rin. Berserker would have disappeared if you'd only used 5 times the jewels you just did. I can't hear Ilya's voice clearly. From the corner of my eye, I see Saber charging Berserker. Rin, run! Saber dashes over. Tosaka tries to pry open Berserker's fingers, but they won't budge. And then... It's okay, Berserker. Crush her. The burning eyes glare at Tosaka. Tosaka screams. Berserker's enormous fingers dig into Tosaka, trying to rip out her insides. There's only one outcome. No. Tosaka's lifeless body being crushed to nothing. Okay, we went there. I run. I forget who I'm up against. I even forget where I am. My mind is completely burned out. I will not allow it. Saber cuts towards Berserker. Her invisible sword swings at Berserker's defenseless arm as if slicing through a radish. But it's no use. Saber's attack pings harmlessly off of Berserker's arm. His grip on Tosaka doesn't loosen. Just moving must be agony for Saber. She swings her sword desperately, blood trickling from her mouth. Shiro! She freezes the instant she sees me rushing at Berserker. Let go of her, you bastard! I slap mindlessly at his back with my bow. Not the best strategy. The giant is unfazed. He doesn't consider me a threat, though maybe I can use that to my advantage. My fingers are getting numb. What the hell is he? If I'm the one going numb from hitting him! Well, that is actually something that can happen. Like, if you don't have proper form with your punches, and especially if you're punching something sufficiently hard, you can actually hurt yourself more than your targets. Run, Shiro. Huh? I look up when I hear Saber. In that instant, I go flying through the air like a leaf. Ugh. I hit the ground and tumble like a bit of stray garbage. Berserker smacked me away with that frozen sword. I try to block the attack with my bow, but it shatters instantly and I'm thrown so far away. I writhe in pain. That breaking sound hadn't come from the bow. One of my arms is bent at the wrong angle. In the wrong spot. When I breathe in, my lungs hurt so bad, I want to puke them up. Okay, so broken arm, broken ribs. I can't breathe properly with all the blood flooding my mouth. But that doesn't matter. Breathing will just make me pass out. Granted, not breathing is not really an acceptable alternative, I don't think. Better than a not breathing. Okay, what do I know? I wake up. Right now, I need to get to him. Him! I run. It's my turn. I'm going to break his arm and save Tosaka. He must have eyes on the back of his head. He swings his sword casually like he's batting aside a fly. I can dodge it. Right? If he's batting the fly, then I am the fly, and the flies are great at dodging. I won't let an arm that's completely frozen hit me so easily. Ugh. Damn, my body's sinking. He must have grazed my leg. Damn him, he didn't even touch my leg, but he somehow managed to break it anyway. Ridiculous. That is enough. Stay back, master. I can't do that. I can't let Tosaka die. What do I need to do to save her? A weapon? A blade would be best. Had my feet broken pieces of the bow. Above me, Berserker's sword swinging right at me. There's no time to think. I let magical energy flow through me. The strengthening succeeds easily, but down comes Berserker's sword. The fragments are finally pulverized. I meant to dodge, but instead my body slams it to the ground. Clearly there was no point strengthening broken shards. I'll have to do this from scratch. It shouldn't be impossible. Anyone can imitate as long as they have an example to follow. I just need to duplicate the foundation, structure, work experience, time, and am I applying for a job or am I making a sword? I don't know. The giant turns around. It must have decided to kill the little nuisance before finishing Tosaka off. Well, I preserved Tosaka's life for like an extra 10 seconds, maybe. I push up from the ground and glare at the giants. There's no fear. I'm too burned out for fear. But behind me, I see someone prepared to disappear. Oh no. I see someone determined to use the sacred sword. Is that really our choice, or don't use it? I mean, we can't let Saber use the sword. Like, no, you agreed, Saber. Besides, best case scenario was you use your phantasm. Maybe you take away one more of his lives, puts him at 4, and then you disappear. And now what? Then what? I'm screwed anyway. Don't use it. Well, think of another way out. We need a more sustainable solution than that. Wind peels back from the blade. The golden sword begins to reveal itself in Saber's hand. I told her not to use it! The sword I told her never to use, no matter what! I snap. The last thread that had been holding me together finally gives. Don't use it, Saber! Ooh, command spell. There we go. That's how you use them. My left hand burns. A command spell stroke disappears. What? Why? We have no other choice, Shiro. No, Saber. The cost is too great, and there's no universe in which that actually works. I don't care. To hell with that. All I know is that if she uses it, she'll disappear. You're already on your last legs just from unleashing your sword. You can't use it right now. So just hold on. If you can't use your sword, I'll make one you can use. Ooh. Okay, I can see that working, maybe. Then at least imagine it. If you can't possibly beat the opponent in reality, then beat them in your imagination. If you can't win yourself, imagine something that can win. It's so obvious. It's the only thing I can do. I have to make it. I have to make something that won't lose. I have to imagine the strongest weapon. I have to imagine the ultimate imitation. It has to fool everyone. Even me. It shouldn't be that hard. That or maybe I'm delusional. Who can say? It's not something impossible. If it exists, it can be made, right? Since the beginning. My body has been a specialized magic circuit for this purpose alone. Oh, an achievement. Project Saber's sword. Well, that seems like a positive development. I leap up. My entire body burns like it's on fire. My left hand is crimson. There we go. What? What? That sword is mine? Saber's voice rings with shocked disbelief. She's staring at the weapon in my hands. At the thing that shouldn't exist. The sword seems to have a will of its own. Wait, is that the sword screaming? Or me? Or is that a figure of speech of like, I'm just so psyched that I just go to town immediately? The golden blade moves as if it's being drawn to the giant's arm. It slashes at him, tearing through the arm. Tasaka falls to the ground along with the arm that had been holding her. The golden sword shatters as if it had been made of glass. Well, that was fun while it lasted. Can I make another one? This planned obsolescence gets you every time, even when you're battling Heracles to try to save you and your friend's life. Boom! Apple gets you with the planned obsolescence. My blood begins to flow backward. That seems bad. It doesn't matter. The sword broke. That's impossible. If I imitate that sword, it shouldn't have shattered like that. It shattered because it wasn't sufficient. My image of the sword wasn't enough. Berserker's furious gaze turns toward me. His massive sword swings up at me. This time he's determined to cut me in half. It doesn't matter. Berserker, you're not my enemy right now. I'm only fighting against one person right now. The last one wasn't perfect. My image of it was flawed, so the sword that should have been invincible broke. If I'm to duplicate things, I need to work on not just their shape, but also their maker. I hear the others holding their breath. In front of me, I see the axe sword rushing toward me like an oncoming storm, and a half-formed sword ready to block it. In desperation, I try to use the sword to block the incoming blade. But that doesn't matter to me. Right now, I need to finish this blade to make it real. Another mistake. You're not fit for fighting, Shiromiya. Your battle's supposed to be a mental one, not a fight against your own self. You don't have to remind me. What I need to do is simple. Projection, start. I concentrate. I'm challenging my own self. There can be neither deviation nor compromise. I've become a perfectionist. Whoa. Determining creation ideology. Anticipating base essence. Duplicating material structure. Replicating the forger's skill. Resonating with the process, or the possessor's experience, not the processor, the possessor. Very important distinction there. Imitating the uncountable years. And surpassing every manufacturing process. I present to you. Illusion shall bind with reality to forge a sword. The giant roars. My sword deflects the countless gusts assaulting me from the enemy's furious attacks. But that's about it. I'm knocked away from him. Don't I come to, the sword leaves everything to me. The attacks I blocked so easily a moment ago now toss me around effortlessly. I can't feel my arms. The skin of my wrists is blistered and red. I'm surprised I can't even keep my grip on the sword. My legs do not work. I can only imagine every muscle shredded to ribbons. I can't get up. I made a sword that surpasses Berserker. But that's all. It is a weapon without a hand sufficient to wield it. I'm just the one who made it. I can't wield the sword I worked so hard to make. A shadow looms over me. He must know who he has to kill first now. I rush away, and Berserker rushes after me like a gust of wind. His enormous sword swings toward me. But is deflected. Huh? In complete disbelief, I realize another hand is closed around my own. The air splits around me. The giant attacks with all his might, trying to destroy everything around him. But right before that happens... Shiro, your hand! She's so close I can hear her voice over the din. If Berserker is a stormfront coming to attack me, Saber's a gale rushing to my side. Saber sprints over to me and twists around, gripping me firmly. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Very fun sort of team-up concept there. I like it. The rock sword shatters. The golden flash explodes through the giant's axe sword and continues ahead, slicing through Berserker's rock-like body without slowing. Maybe I copied the form so well that I copied some of its abilities too. The golden sword lodges deep in Berserker's body and glows so brilliantly that light pours from the giant's body. And then, in an instant, the light fades and the forest falls silent. We still gotta do that like 4 more times though, right? All the strength flees my limbs. The heat that had been surging through me rapidly cools. The sword I made begins to disappear. I watch it vacantly. Saber and I remain together, holding the sword in our hands until it's disappeared completely. Wind sweeps through the clearing. The earth-shaking howl and the blade that had churned up the very air are gone. Who the heck is speaking? So is that your blade, Saber? Oh, it's Heracles. I didn't realize he could speak. The previously invincible giant, now immobile, looks to the knight, who defeated him, and speaks in a low, rumbling voice. This is Caliban, the sword in the stone meant to strike the king. It is my blade, and it was lost forever. However... Yeah, that's the one thing I always confuses me. Like, I have trouble keeping it straight in my head with the... Well, not the one thing, but one of the things that I have a hard time keeping straight in my head with regards to, like, Arthurian legend is, I think... Because the sword in the stone is actually a different sword than Excalibur, I believe, right? Like, that's, like, the sword that chooses the king, and then Excalibur, I think, is actually from, like, the Lady of the Lake or something. So... It's just confusing, right? Make up your mind. Give your cool, like, mythological king character, like, a specific awesome sword. He doesn't need 2. Just, like, come on. That's just indulgence. However... It is not your sword anymore. It was merely an illusion that boy created. Oh, I'm aware that this is not Excalibur. That's what I was going on rant-wise. Of like, because this is a sword I saw her wield in like my dreams. That's different from Excalibur, which she wields now. I understand what's going on. Don't worry, I'm not lost. I was just riffing on Arthurian mythos. Like, why are there two? Why are there 2 swords? It just makes things confusing. Anyway, Saber nods quietly. In imitation, a blade that will never again exist. And yet... Berserker's chest opens up. He begins to dissolve. His body begins to crumble like wet sand, beginning where the sword pierced him, and rapidly expanding outward. Jeez, sorry, my eyelash is like getting my eye. But that illusion should not be underestimated. I never expected it could have destroyed me 7 times over in a single blow. His dying words are spoken without emotion. The mad warrior keeps to his role until his very end, and fades away in a dispersing haze into the misty morning air. Dizziness rocks me where I stand. This is probably the price for such excessive use of MageCraft. The blood that rages through me is putting pressure on my brain, sending far too much oxygen out to the rest of my body. My head feels like it could split open. The enemy has disappeared, and whatever was numbing the pain earlier has faded. As if to make me pay the accumulated toll of this incredible battle, the dizziness and headache crash into me like twin meteors. I'm about to collapse, but Saber supports me. Saber shouldn't have the energy for that either at this point. No, I'm fine. I've got a few broken bones, but nothing fatal. I've got that healing thing, and it's already kicking in, so I'll be fine. That is nonsense. You used protection MageCraft to the extreme. You must rest right now. But there's someone I have to talk to first. Ah, yes, Ilya. So, I mean, with Berserker dead, you're effectively eliminated. So, like, you done antagonizing me then, maybe, Ilya? I mean, she is still, I think, a powerful mage in her own right. So, let's not do anything reckless here, but... Saber stands ready. Ilya stares at where Berserker had been standing, her eyes hollow. Good. I do not know if there is a reason for her to remain here, but she has spared us the need to pursue her. She shall die, Grace. No, Saber, don't hurt Ilya! Without Berserker, she's... I stopped Saber with the last remaining strength I have. Ilya doesn't even seem to notice we're here. She just stares at the ground. No way. Did you die, Berserker? She sounds like an abandoned child. Ilya? Ilya lifts her head absent-mindedly. It happens suddenly. Ilya collapses like a puppet with its strings cut. What? I don't know what happened. I just stare at Ilya where she lies. Oh, and then... Sheesh, everyone is injured. Like is anyone holding up well? I feel like we're the Lions' defense this year or something. Though we are still winning. Like the Lions' defense. And at almost the same moment, Tasaka raises her hand. She is freed now that Berserker's arms disappeared. I must have loosened up the moment I learned Tasaka was safe. My vision blurs and I can feel my body trying to pass out. I can't show that kind of weakness. We may have defeated Berserker, but we're still in the forest. Weary as we are, we have to force ourselves to get out of the forest. I look up at the sky as it begins to lighten. The town is a long way away. All my allies are wounded, and every single inch of me hurts. And yet, morning has come. We survived a night I was prepared not to. After defeating our greatest enemy, we leave the winter forest.